Makkah Royal Clock Tower, which has the world's largest clock and gold-plated crescent. When the construction of this tower was in progress, the King of Saudi Arabia asked to put a glass facade on the top of the tower which would look like a very large diamond from afar. And on this diamond will be the world's largest crescent, which is also 24 karat gold plated. Now, this work could only be done by one company in the world, the famous German company Riva. But making a diamond-like facade here or putting a gold layer on the crescent was also a big problem. That is, the engineers of the Riva company and its owner were non-Muslims. And you all know that only Muslims are given entry to Makkah. The Riva company, who had taken this project, but to work physically on the site, it is a strict law of the Saudi government that only Muslims will be given entry. What was the solution to this problem? How was the world's largest clock and two passenger bus weighted crescent brought to a height of 600 meters? That took at a place where there are millions of people every time. This was probably the first and last building in history whose architect could not see the building closely even to the edge. It is recognized by the world's largest clock on it, which is 43 meters larger than each side. And if we talk about the area, only one side of the clock is spread over 16,000 square feet. That is, only one clock is as big as 3.5 floors of 500 houses. The Makkah Royal Clock Tower, built at the cost of $16 billion, is the most expensive skyscraper in the world to date. When its construction began, it was going to be the tallest building in the world. But when its 600-meter high plan was leaked, Dubai increased the height of Burj Khalifa and made the record its own. This tower is one of the 7 skyscraper hotels in the complex, which is built only 300 meters away from the world's largest mosque, Al Haram. Makkah is a holy city in Saudi Arabia, where millions of Muslims from all over the world come to perform Hajj. Religious tourism is the second largest source of income in Saudi Arabia, which adds $12 billion to the government treasury every year. This is why the most hotel rooms are found in the city of Makkah, about 250,000. Dubai is second with 154,000 rooms, while Las Vegas is third with 151,000 rooms. The height of this tower was only planned at 450 meters. At that time, the engineers had also made its foundation accordingly. And when the structure of 450 meters stood, later it was decided to take it up to 600 meters. If more load was put on this foundation, it would be like inviting danger. Now, upon solving this problem, it was being noticed that another request came from King Abdulaziz. He did not only want to make it a minaret, but also wanted to put the world's largest clock on it, above which will be a very large diamond and a gold-plated crescent at the top. To meet these demands, the engineers had to look at the foundation of the tower again. The result was that the weight of the upper 150 meters should not be more than 36,000 tons. Keeping these calculations in mind, the engineers and designers had to design a 150-meter high, lightweight steel structure that was not less than concrete in strength, which would later be placed on the concrete tower. This structure was designed in such a way that it would distribute all its load evenly over the concrete tower, and then the clock and crescent would be placed around this structure. After making the structure, it was now time to make the largest clock on it. To complete this task, a German company named Parrot was selected, who had 165 years of experience in this work, making the world's largest clock at a height of 450 meters and operating is not an ordinary thing. How big will be the thorns of this clock? How to save them in the strong wind? And how will this clock work at such a height? These were all the things that were very important to take care of. The big thorn of this clock was 23 meters, while the small thorn was 17 meters long. Let's assume that if the big thorn is erected straight, it can compete with a 5-story building in height. At a height of 600 meters, the wind can blow faster than 200 km per hour, which can easily remove the thorn. And on top of that, there will be separate clocks on all sides of the tower, which can increase this danger even more. Finally, the thorns of the clock were decided to be made of special carbon fiber material, because carbon fiber is a lightweight material, but it is also stronger than steel. Steel has a higher ability to withstand pressure and it can turn when pressured. But carbon fiber does not turn when pressured. In addition to this, there is also a risk of rust in steel, while carbon fiber is completely rust-proof. Not 4 but 5 sets of thorns were made for the Makkah Clock Tower. It was also made in a sphere. Only one thorn was placed in each trailer and it was taken to the Makkah Clock Tower. These thorns are so big that it can be easily run inside. There are separate motors to run all 4 clock towers of the clock tower, which is called a clock drive. But here too, an extra clock drive has already been installed in the clock tower so that it can be replaced immediately in case of failure. A maintenance switch has also been installed in this clock tower. As soon as you press it, the thorns become completely straight and maintenance workers can go inside it. A lot of research has also been done to select the color of this clock tower. It was first decided that it would be given a black and white color. But after doing many experiments, it was found that the time is right during the day, but at night, white LED lights are not making a sharp image in the eyes. After changing the colors, green LED lights were finally selected. Now, even at night, even if you look from 8 km away, you can see the time correctly. There are a total of 200,000 LED lights installed on this clock tower. Each LED is installed at a distance of 4 inches from each other, which can be seen as one very big light. These 200,000 LEDs were also made keeping in mind the hot weather of Makkah, which took more than a year. Now it was time to make the most difficult but beautiful part of the Makkah Clock Tower. A crescent was to be placed on the top of the building, which was the most important to reach the height of the tower to 600 meters. This crescent is 75 feet high and is also very wide. To keep it lightweight, it was made by mixing fiberglass and carbon fiber, but still its total weight is about 35 tons. The responsibility was given to the German company Riva. The work of finishing the top 150 meters was to be done by this company, and this is the work for which the German engineers had to come to the holy city of Makkah. But because only Muslims are given entry in Makkah, some engineers and the owners of Riva had to convert their religion to Islam just to work on the Makkah Royal Clock Tower. Yes, even to make the largest clock, the engineers who did not want to change their religion, they stayed in Dubai, made this clock and then later transported it to Makkah. The most special thing is that a layer of gold would have been placed on the corners of the crescent. If this crescent was made in one piece, then it would be difficult to bring it to the top and then install it there, but it would be possible. Because of the crowd and tight space, only tower cranes can work here, but they can't lift that much weight at the same time. That's why it was intended to be made in different parts. Approximately 10 crore pieces of mosaic tiles were glued on this crescent to make a layer of gold, on which a layer of gold was applied. Each mosaic tile was made finely and then cut into blocks of 2 by 2 centimeters. This whole crescent was also made in Dubai, and then after giving the final touch, it was sent to Makkah. The demo version of the clock was also installed at a location in Dubai because some of the engineers of the German company who had not changed their religion wanted to install it first and see if there was anything missing. After fixing all the problems, it was sent to Makkah. The installation of the crescent at a height of 600 meters was also a big challenge because tower cranes can't lift that much load at such a height. This crescent was pulled up in 4 different parts and one part weighed about 4 tons. This was a very dangerous task for engineers and workers because 1. Tower cranes could not lift much weight due to being at such a height. Secondly, if there was a strong wind in the middle of this process, the weight of 4 tons could have doubled due to the pendulum effect. Then what happened with was feared. Just when one part of the crescent was in the air, the wind suddenly started blowing. Finally, some workers held it with ropes and stopped it from moving, and then it was positioned and fixed. The crescent encompasses a 4-story high column-free living space with a prayer room, resting area, kitchen, bathroom, and few service rooms. The construction of the Makkah Royal Clock Tower began in 2002 and was completed in 2011 after 9 years. In its peak time, 20,000 workers worked on it together.